welcome to the channel where all you gotta do, build a car rotisserie. So it turns out when you order a car rotisserie and you pay for residential shipping, when you live in the middle of nowhere, they make you drive down to Safeway to unload it from the truck because they're too chicken to drive up a windy road. So unfortunately, then you have to figure out how to get it out of the trailer. Luckily, I have a dump trailer, so problem solved. So now that it's out of the trailer, uh, we'll see how well it's packed. It's actually quite good. So I'm just taking all the pieces and segregating them into pairs and kind of laying everything out so I know what I have. That stuff's part of the engine hoist, so I don't really need that. And once it's all segregated, I'm kind of laying it out on the floor in the garage, shop. Okay, so I think I have all my pieces laid out that I need. So we're going to put this car rotisserie together. I did notice some stuff about unpacking it. I think there's a little roller on the other part. And obviously this one that is very, not ideal. So I'm going to pop those apart, put some grease on them, grease all the wheels up, stuff like that before I put it together and have to take it all back apart to facilitate some pre-maintenance. Same thing with the ball screws, those look pretty rough. So maybe I'll put some dry lube on those or something. Yeah, so this rotisserie is going to be used for Bronco project and the Mustang project. So it also came with an engine stand, which I don't really use engine stands too much because I got Big Joe here, but essentially came for the same price. This is all cheap Chinese stuff, but honestly I don't know how I could replicate this just buying metal and wheels and fasteners. It would cost me more than this thing cost. It's like $1,200. So anyway, we'll get started on putting this thing together, and I will walk you through any weird stuff that's happening. But from the most part, the unboxing went kind of good. There was a lot of leftover pieces in the box, so to say, like when they sandblasted it before paint, which is good. They actually sandblasted before paint. There was a bunch of sand in there. And when they drilled the holes, the drill pushed a slug out of the hole, and there was a bunch of those in the box. But other than that, everything looks... I didn't cut myself, so everything's pretty good. Apparently this is my instructions, which I'm not sure I need them anyway, but it's always good to have a reference. But it's pretty obvious how it goes together, I think. So we'll get started. Snap ring pliers. Oh yeah, like butter. This one has the same problem, except for they just painted over this one. That sounds smooth, right? Yeah, it's not gonna. I think they even sandblasted it. Yep, they're sandblasting in there, so that's what you get. So here's our little friend. It's just about locked up. And I'm thinking the only way to really fix this is to grind that weld off of there, knock that out, clean it up, put it back together, weld it. It's not great 5 minutes into the build. Works better when you put it in go instead of back up. First time. Lots of paint in those threads. It's not even close to being in. Lots of sand maybe, not paint. Both probably. Yeah, not a great start. Alright. Imagine these big long bolts going in here. I have 8 of them, so that seems right. About an inch longer than they need to be. However, it did come with these little guys, which may be a doubler plate and a bolt shortener all in one. Instructions are for non-engineers. You do notice that there's no pass-throughs for these, so it's just crushing the tube when you tighten the bolt, which is not great engineering. Now let's reference the cartoon here. I don't see anything that shows a doubler going on there, but pretty sure that's where it goes because the holes line up and the bolt's too long otherwise. Give me a bunch of lock nuts, which I don't believe do anything, so I'm going to discard those into my logo receptacle. At least they're metric fasteners, which sometimes you buy stuff from China and they try to be nice to you and make it English. Not nice. Silly. Alright. Not tight yet. I will get to those in a bit. I think probably the next logical step. Just put these wheels on. Maybe not so logical, but that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, there's so much fucking sand in these threads. Not funny. Not great. So you can't even get the socket on the fucking bolt. Oh. That's neat. Bolts bottom out on the pipe before it's tight. It's pretty clever. I guess they give you a stack of washers so you can make it work. I guess. It seems inappropriate. Is that the word? Yeah, this is kind of bullshit. Kind of. Totally bullshit. So as you can see here, that bolt, maybe you can't see because I'm looking in the dungeon, but that bolt is not tight. So you need a stack of washers on there to make it solve. Yeah. The camera's having a little trouble focusing on pretty much anything, but not good. So I'm gonna need some shorter bolts or a stack of washers 3 miles thick, and more like 3 millimeters thick, maybe 5 millimeters thick. Still, not awesome. So I decided to get a little more light on the subject. So put 3 things together. 2 of them didn't work so far. Well, not that they didn't work, but didn't work as they should. So these bolts, these go into here, hold the wheel on. Unfortunately, it's about 5 millimeters longer than it's supposed to be. So they gave me about 1,000 washers and 1,000 lock washers, which I don't use because I use this. So I just stacked 3 washers under each bolt. And if I run out of washers, I'll go to my washer bin. Get some better washers anyway. This is just holding the wheels on. They're not really under a lot of load, so that's what we're gonna do. Just make it work. I feel like I'm back at Carroll Shelby's. Every one of those Carroll Shelby motors is put together with a 2-inch long stack of washers. Couldn't be bothered to do it right. I didn't work for Shelby-ish. I worked for, well, my paycheck came from Shelby, but I didn't work for the man doing Shelby stuff. I worked on some crazy Australian guy's engine. That was a steaming pile of crap. But you know how that goes. When you need a job, you need a job. So I got both of these assembled. A few little quirks about how to do it. The easy way to do it is to put this wheel on first, because you can flip it upside down, see what's going on. Of course, you have to put a stack of washers into there again. Then you bolt this guy on here, and then you can flip it on its head, and then those things are kind of perpendicular to, at least you can see them upright. I did notice a couple of things. When you put these bolts in, they are so close to hitting the edge of the flange that you have to orient the hexes so they swivel without making scraping noises. So it's not enough room to get a socket on there. You have to use an open-end wrench judiciously to tighten those up. And then I put the wheel locks to the off position. Here it says off right there. Push it off. Off is locked. On? Unlocked. So maybe they don't have Google Translate? That seems pretty fucking stupid. Anyway, there's a warning sticker you can read if you want. I still haven't fixed the rollers on here. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is... Oh, this one doesn't even have a weld on this side. That's different than the other side. I mean, it's the same that it doesn't rotate, but in case you're wondering what that does, that piece slides into here, and then so it doesn't, when you're making the vehicle go up and down, it rolls on this and that. It's cantilevered, right? It's putting a side load on it, so there and there it rolls. Otherwise, it's just scraping, wear itself to death. So I lubed this one up, took it apart, the snap ring off, and lubed it up like the other one. But I don't think we can go much farther until I fix those guys, so stay tuned. So welcome back. So what we're working on here is part of my brand new car rotisserie. These guys don't actually rotate, so I need to fix that. I don't want to fight this thing for eternity, so I'm going to grind these guys off, knock the pin out, take this guy, put on the lathe, bore the idea of this so it's nice and smooth, put the pin back in, weld it up. So let's get going. surface finish on the inside of this looks like absolute garbage. Looks like they drilled it with a 100-inch a minute feed rate. That's fast. These don't look very good either. So that is supposed to be a bearing surface. It's pretty terrible. I think I'm gonna need to fix on that. Alright, so I'm back from the lathe where I kind of just filed these, improved the finish, took some Scotch Brite to it. These I bored, took about 5/1000 out of them to make them surface finish nice. Now they spin freely. So I just need to put some grease on these guys and feed it back together and then weld her up. It doesn't look too bad considering I don't know how to weld. Okay, so this guy is fixed. So we don't need the power transmission in our way anymore. Off you go. I turn this brake on to get it to be off. Perfect. No problem at all. Alright, that goes like that. Remember I said good things about the wheels? Take it back. Alright. It's not very wiggly, that should be fine. Got a lot of washers on the ground here. All split washers, so I won't be needing them. Basura. Alright. I think this goes in here like this. judging by the picture. And this guy, it's about as good. Okay. And that's fucked up too. Yeah, so far 0 things are put together. So put this pin in here, and this release doesn't release far enough to make it, you know, work. So I need to grind a little bit off this guy, or I don't know what else I could do. That doesn't fucking work. How do you make such a shitty product? It is. Unfathomably bad. I guess I could take some off of here and slide this back farther, and then that might solve it. This is just shit. If only somebody would have warned me about Chinese products. No. Okay, well, let's ignore that for the time being, even though that's pretty fucked up. I think this is supposed to have a chingadera in it, but alright. We'll get the other one up to the same point as, we're probably there in second. Let's not do that. Get the instructions out. This is a complicated piece of equipment. So that chingadera goes in here. And that little hole is for this thrust bearing. It's an actual thrust bearing, so that's nice. This handle has no on it. It's got a hole for it. This looks like the kind of ball screws they use on a Haas mill. No, actually they use real nice ones on the Haas. And the reason they work at all. Okay, so is that supposed to work? Okay, so this must have to go all the way through. stay. All right. All right. So well, missed that by that much. Good safety tip. Alright, so this guy must use threads. M6. It's good to know that. They went with a nice large bolt to hold this thing up. Not like it's picking up 4,000 pounds or nothing, so it's probably fine. Looks like a pretty high quality fastener. Sarcasm. These bolts don't line up. At least not particularly well. I'm not going to use my impact on these because bad things could happen. I might just replace those with better fasteners and put some nuts on the back side because that's pretty not awesome. It does go up and down though. Not a bit squeaky. Apparently it's this size. Kind of stupid. The bumper bolt goes in to line up with where your bumper would be in your car. So you tighten from that side. These ones, for some reason, they're on the other side. Makes no sense. Could have been easily done the right way. Not terrible though. Okay. I think we have one side fairly done. So a couple of last things to put on. This is the pump. Looks like your standard Harbor Freight kind of looking thing. Pretty sure it goes around there somewhere. Cool. So I think that's everything. So as I was working on this thing, I was noticing there's a lot of where these are sheared or laser cut or lane cut. There's a lot of sharp edges. So I'm gonna probably go around with a sander, a file or something, and kind of take these off because these don't look sharp, but they are very sharp. You could easily let some blood out on accident. But overall, this is not terrible to assemble. The quality's kind of, but like I said, it would have cost more to buy the material. Probably would have cost twice as much to buy the material to make this, so it is what it is. You gotta spend a couple hours fixing on stuff. It's still a net positive. So I will finish putting this thing together, making it in one piece. And one of these days we'll get this loaded up with a Bronco tub or maybe a Mustang. Who knows? Something. Okay, so rotisserie is all completely built. And that's what it looks like. The only thing that is incorrect is they didn't give me any bolts for those, but M12, I'm sure I got those laying around, not a big deal. But overall, it took about 3 hours to assemble, including me chopping it apart, fixing the bushings, putting it back on, welding it. I also had to modify these guys to get enough clearance in there. Now it works. Some nice features. They got little holes drilled in there for the bar. Goes up in here. So, and then another one on the other side for the jack handle. It's kind of nice. These look like a lawsuit prompted them for stability reasons, which I get it. Makes sense. You don't know what people are going to do, how cattywampus are going to put the mass. Yeah, overall, I give it about a 6 out of 10. I've owned these before. I had a auto twirler, I don't know, 10-15 years ago, and it was, I'd have to say the build quality was a little bit better, but this one I think is more functional for its cost. Yeah, that one you didn't have any jacks or any things to stop it in a position. You just had to kind of jack it up with a big jack and jam a stick through the side. It also has bigger wheels. The auto twirler had like 4-inch wheels, I think. Actually, those wheels right there. Repurposed. Maybe they're 5-inch. So yeah, overall, if you have skills and a shop to kind of fix on stuff, I think this will work out just fine. If you don't, you're just gonna put it together wrongly and maybe it wears out faster, but probably don't use this that often, so maybe that's fine. Thanks for watching. If you like this content and want more, subscribe, like, and share.